again, everybody. Hola, this is Migueltio, the North Country Latino, and I'm live here this morning to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And anyone who doesn't know, Hispanic Heritage Month actually isn't one of the 12 months of our calendar, like African American History Month is in February, and there's other months for different things and a lot of great causes out there to celebrate during a month. This is actually from one of our months to another month. September 15th to October 15th is the celebration, when a majority of the Latin American countries of the Western Hemisphere got their freedom from colonization. So there's a lot of different events and awarenesses that get remembered during Hispanic Heritage Month. And especially important is remembering a lot of different important people. And I'm going to do an art project first this morning, not too long of a project, that encompasses something I saw once in a bookstore back in the mid-1990s. And any New Yorkers out there remember the name of this bookstore can certainly write in, chime in, and help out, because I don't remember the name of the bookstore anymore. It was long before La Casa Azul bookstore came to New York. They're so awesome now. This one was actually down toward the lower side of Manhattan. It was on, I believe, 3rd Avenue and maybe around Avenue B or so down Alphabet City. I know we walked down 3rd Avenue and then we got into the area where it branches off from the numbered streets. And we were on our way to Delancey Street because I went shopping down there at a couple of the old Latin record stores that used to be down there. Ritmo Latino was down there. They had a location down there, a small chain, and there was another one. Anyway, this bookstore was run by a man. And while La Casa Azul has a lot of, New York and Boricua books and many different of New York's Latin flavor, this one tended to be mostly Boricua. And in fact, it was the first place that I ever got any of my poetry books there, like Miguel Pinheiro and people like that. I got En Nueva York by Nicolas Amor, my first Latin-based novel. And other books that I got that day were like Down These Mean Streets and things like that. And they had these little wooden kind of bust statues of Hector Lavoe. Now, for those of you who don't know, Hector Lavoe, El Cantante de los Cantantes, one of the most known salsa singers ever. He's an iconic figure today, and icon art is so popular. Of course, you see things like artists, and I'm not talking about the glow-in-the-dark velvet stuff like in the 70s and 80s that you'd get at a carnival with Elvis or somebody on it. I'm talking about like actually making art prints and sculptures and things like that with, Elvis and Marilyn Monroe or James Dean and people like that. And Hector Lavoe, when it comes to Latin icons, is one of the most prominent today. Of course, so is Frida Kahlo, the artist, and everything. So it made me think, I've never seen this kind of little wooden statuette of Hector Lavoe again, anywhere, any kind of art kiosk I've seen in New York, or even at places like La Casa Azul bookstore or the record stores that sell a lot of souvenirs like Barrio Music Center and Casa Latina. I've never seen it again. So I'm going to be making one of my own today, and then we're going to do a little food later with a Jibarito Sandwich. Very prominent kind of food for Hispanic Heritage Month. And it's all going to start with this awesome piece of wood. So this awesome piece of wood was carved by a good friend in town, Miss Mary Hugh, who is an awesome PE teacher, martial arts instructor, he's a black belt holder, and he also does DJing and has a band of his own, so they're around here doing all kinds of things. And I needed somebody with a jigsaw, so I had this block of wood, and he carved it for me, because in this is going to go the Hector Lavoe image. This was the kind of thing that I found at that bookstore down in New York, and I just have not seen anything like this again. I didn't buy one that day because I was getting my Down These Mean Streets by Pierre Tomas and the other books I got that day. So I'm going to make my own. Never thought of it before. What can I do, So I have to sand the edges here just to get it smoother. Did a great job getting it to fit the image I had. I had a piece of wood, and I basically traced it to where I wanted it to be, and Mitch cut it for me. So, thank you, Mitch, for doing this, making it possible and possible. So basically, the sanding process is underway. Here's right here. The image right here. Alright, so we got a lot of surface nice and smooth on this. The sanding has been done. So I'm going to put some glue on parts of the wood. And you can see there's the Hector Lavoe image I'm using for this, which is the one I remember from the one that was done by whomever and sold at the bookstore. So I'm going to fit the image on, get it so it's flat on the bottom. I may have to do some trimming at the top, and that's okay. Get it so it's best. There we go. Now I'm going to let that dry. Let me get it at the bottom there. It's not quite where I want it to be. It's going to stand up. I'm going to put it on my bookshelf that is pretty much just like the bookstore, La Casa Azul bookstore's bookshelf, where you go and they have these cool icons and other things for sale as well as the books. There you go. So the glue is drying. And eventually it's going to be totally like that. But we're not done yet. We'll let that glue dry and then we'll finish it. Now, since this is pretty much dried on, I'm going to go in behind it and just kind of clip off a little of what is standing up behind it here. Trim it a little bit, if you will, so it goes along with the top of the wood. That way, don't have overhang. Because what I'm going to do is finish it off with a nice gloss in the end. And I don't want there to be something laying over the top. So I want it to be as even as possible. Better. The thing about this bookstore that I went to is that by the time 1999, 2000 rolled around, I went back to New York again, it was gone. So it wasn't there into the 2000s when I was back up in New York to go to the city again more often. There we go. And this is one of the many prominent images of Hector at the microphone, singing as he did. Now, the other thing I remember about that particular piece of art was that there was highlighting done on it. So I've got a black pen. I'm doing some highlighting. Kind of like when you see, like, I remember in the 80s and 90s, the start of Saturday Night Live would show like the images of New York and the stars, and there'd be highlighted colors around them. So I'm highlighting his hair right now. And Hector Lavoe sang for thousands in stadiums, and of course the whole Fania All-Stars scene was huge. They played Yankee Stadium in New York. They played various huge outlets all over the world. They played at the famous Ali Frazier event over in Africa back in, I think, the 1960s, late 1960s. Just to name a few, all over South America as well. So, just making this honor that salsa icon. Just doing some highlighting here. And I have no doubt that if Hector were alive today, he'd be part of the whole classic salsa revival scene that's going on. Who knows, maybe he and his friend Willie Colon have gotten back together again. They played for a while and then they broke up as far as keeping their music together. It was like on and off. But they certainly have done incredible things, did incredible things separately. I'm just giving this some highlighting here. Highlighting some of the jacket parts of the image. I'm going to add some color to it, because that's one thing I remember about that. And you see that in pop images too. They had like rainbow colors of Marilyn Monroe's face or things like that. I'm going to add some color, make this jacket a little yellow here. I mean, I have no idea what color the actual jacket was in this iconic shot, but it's going to be yellow in my work. So it goes along with the outline I gave it. There we go, and I added some contrast to the black around him too. And we'll add a little orange to his outline. There, and the last part I'm going to do is apply a little shiny polyurethane finish to it. So now I'm just adding a little bit of polyurethane to it. Make it nice and shiny. Go to the sides. And right over Hector. There we go. Now preserve the icon. Stuff bubbles up, doesn't it? And we'll let it dry. And a little later on we're going to start the Jibarito Sandwich. A little icon art. Alright, how many of you kids who were kids in the 70s watched the old Sesame Street? Not that Sesame Street is totally different now, but there's a lot of differences in it. The classic Sesame Street, where Luis taught people how to make a peanut butter banana sandwich. I had never heard of or seen a peanut butter banana sandwich before that episode of Sesame Street. I tried it and I loved it. Well, today we're going to make a sandwich with banana, but it's not going to be a peanut butter banana sandwich. It's not going to be Migueltio and North Korean Latino. There's a peanut butter banana sandwich. Alright? We are going to make a sandwich with a banana, but not the usual kind of banana you just peel and eat. This is a plantain for anybody out there. Larger banana, cooking banana, as I was once taught it was called. And this is called the Jibarito, which is a very popular sandwich in a lot of Latin restaurants, especially Puerto Rican restaurants, but many of them that uses a banana instead of bread. So hey, it's great for all the anybody who's trying to watch their carbs against the wheat belly and all that kind of thing. You can use banana to put your sandwich on. So you want one that's still fairly green. I know people like sometimes to use the ones that are amarillo, very yellow, very ripe. But this one, the recipe I have, calls for one that's still fairly green. They're a little more challenging to peel than your regular, ordinary garden variety banana. But you just kind of work the peel off, and you get it so it's ready to go. I just about got it all ready here. I got oil on my pan, so I'm heating up. Just about got it almost all peeled. There we go. Okay. Get my big knife out. I'm going to cut it in half. Right down the center. It's cut lengthwise. I had one of these at Las Camaradas in El Barrio a couple years ago in New York. Get that bottom off there. Okay. I'll lay it flat. My oil is heating up. I'm going to put it in the oil for about 4 minutes or so. Set my timer. 4 minutes. Fry up in the oil. Olive oil, of course, the best of all the oils. Now, after 4 minutes, I'm going to take the plantains off of the oil. Get my oil down. And then I'm going to flatten them. So then, I take out my flattened pieces, put them back in the oil for another 4 minutes. They're like little banana sub rolls, if you will, or Cuban bread. But it's banana instead of the usual bread. Another 4 minutes. And fry up. And I turn them about halfway through. So I get one side and the other side nice. Right up. One of those sandwiches that get you through on a Saturday afternoon, you know? Or you can take it to work for lunch. Or if you're a student, take it to school for lunch. And your friends will say, what the heck are you eating? I'm having a banana sandwich. What are you eating? Oh well, such is life, huh? Anyways. The Jibarito is especially, I guess, popular in Chicago. In the Latin neighborhoods there. That's where my recipe comes from. About a minute left on this. And we'll take it out and we'll drain them on some paper towels again after it's done. And that timer's going off, so we lift up half, lift up the other half, and we are ready to let that drain. And turn off your oil, folks. Don't leave it stovetop on. Let that cool. Keep that handle turned in too. Got little kids in your house. And after that's drained out, we're going to make the sandwich. Alright, now with our banana finished, I've got some meats out here. We've got turkey and ham and also some roast beef. This is a good one for like if you had a roast on a Sunday or something like that, and want to do something with the leftover roast beef, good thing to make a Jibarito sandwich, eh? Get your best mayonnaise you can find. This is the one with olive oil in it. And I'm going to take a couple of tablespoons, put in a bowl. And then I'm going to take a teaspoon measure and a 1/4 teaspoon each. I'm going to add of chili powder into the bowl. Of cumin. There we go. And garlic powder. I just bought some new garlic powder yesterday, believe it or not. It's good when you can go to one of these bulk places. Get it cheaper than the bottles. Garlic powder. Obviously, if you're making more than one sandwich, you get a little more of each. Mix it together. A little concoction. So it spices up. Kind of like reminds me of what you make when you make a midnight sandwich of the Cuban sandwich variety. Stir it together. Get yourself a knife, like I'm doing now. Come on back over. Bring it with you. And you're going to take one of your rolls, if you will. Spread some of this concoction on it. Your mayonnaise. Call it your mayonnaise. Your mayonnaise mix. I don't use a lot of mayonnaise, so I probably went a little lighter than most people would. I'm not going to load the mayonnaise on. And then some roast beef. And I warmed it up in the microwave so it was tender and juicy again. It's been in the fridge. Ham and turkey, I warmed that up with it. And a piece of cheese. Any cheese you want. Go back to your mayonnaise. Spread a little on the other half. Just some of that out with a spoon. Get as much on there as I can. Adds a little flavor. Flavors you might not normally put together. Sometimes make some of the most awesome flavors you've ever tasted. You never know when you cook food. Spread that around and put your sandwich top on. Ah, veggies you say. Well, let's add some of those too. My half back off. Some homegrown tomato slices. I will say the Chicago recipe I have does call for veggies on it. I know most Cuban sandwiches, sometimes there's veggies involved, sometimes there's not, depending on which recipe you use. So we got some homegrown tomato and some spinach I got from a local farmer's market. Now we're going to top it off. Now it's something to eat. So we have two works of art today. Hector Lavoe, El Cantante, thanks to Mitch Merrihew for carving out that wood. And also a Jibarito sandwich. Something you never thought was possible with a banana. And one more thing I didn't know was possible with a banana, thanks to Driana Crowfoot and Jordan Lehman and Bridget Patterson and Mr. McCall's lesson class, talking about how you turn a banana the other way and peel it. And it keeps you from getting all the hair and all that you get in the banana skin. Ladies and gentlemen, They're right. This is Migueltio, North Korean Latino. Enjoy Hispanic Heritage Month. And if you're not Hispanic, well, go enjoy a good sandwich, a good work of art, anywhere you'd like. Hasta luego.